Now, without further ado, let's welcome Jean Eckhoff. She's training and organizational management developer from Conversion Logix, and Dominic Kaloya. Dominic is our customer success manager at eLearning. I will stop sharing my screen, and Dominic, the webinar is yours.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. I am really excited about today's webinar because the format's going to be a little bit different. It's not going to be me explaining something and showing a PowerPoint. We're going to start off with a conversation between Jean and myself. I'm really proud of Jean. She's done some really amazing work in the past several months, and I think you're going to find it very valuable to retrace her steps and see what she did. As I'm going to introduce myself, and I'm going to ask June to introduce herself. While I'm doing that, I'm going to launch the first of 3 quick polls, and I'd like to get to know a little something about you guys, and who we're talking to today. And my role as customer success manager here at eLearning is pretty much to meet with our customers and make sure they understand the tools, they have the proper strategies, they know how to make the most out of their eLearning resources and make them successful. So basically, I become a partner with the customers to help them be successful in their learning goals. And over to you, Jean. I'd like you to introduce yourself briefly to the crowd.
Okay, well, thanks, Dom. I'm really excited to be here and very honored that you asked me to be part of this webinar. My name is Jean, as you heard, and I work for Conversion Logix. We are a digital marketing technology firm that helps property owners get qualified leads, do marketing attribution, and we create customized campaigns. We are differentiated by having like really white glove, hands-on account management and using AI-driven tools to drive results. So that's my little blurb about my company. I have over 15 years in training and learning development. I started actually as an ESL teacher and taught English in Italy for a while. And that's the things that I took away from there is the biggest one that I took away from there is that learning should be fun. That's when people learn and retain the best, that neuroscience of learning, where if you have really great emotions, it helps with your retention. And then I became a corporate trainer in sales enablement, and that's where I learned how to work with salespeople. They're a great crowd, very different, but fun to work with. And that's where I learned how to chunk lessons, do micro lessons, and what's most important to learners. And at Dish Network during COVID, that's where I learned how to be a virtual trainer. And then I went to SmartRent, built a sales enablement program from the ground up. And then I moved over to Conversion Logix, where I am a team of 1, and I am standing up a whole entire, I call it an upskilling and employee development program. They hired me because they had nobody. So I just started from the ground up. So that's where I am today. And we can go on from there.
Well, as you can see, folks, we have some exciting things to share with you today. I shared the results of the first 2 polls. I'm about to close out the 3rd and final poll. What I'm seeing is that we've got a mixture of talent and experience. What's interesting is some of the technologies that Jean has been using and that we're going to be showing you today. Some of these technologies, no one in the audience so far has said that they are using those. So this would be very interesting to see perhaps if you see something that you want to start exploring. I'll end this poll and share the results. We see that a couple of people are lonely and they are one-shop departments, just like Jean is. Some people are fortunate enough to be working in small groups, and then some people also in larger groups. So a little mixture there all across the board. So let's start off with oh, by the way, the format is going to be, we're not just going to be the 2 of us having a conversation the whole time. Jean is going to be showing you some exciting things and the results of what she's done along the way. So it's going to be a little bit of show and tell. But let's start off with what prompted you in the beginning, Jean, to even start looking to do any of this online stuff?
Well, when I was hired, I asked them if they had a learning management system, and they said no. And I said, well, that's one of the conditions of my employment, because you can't have an employee development department if you don't have a learning management system. So that is one of the reasons why I started with this. And the second, probably the first biggest reason is that when I came on board, I had zero onboarding. And when I talked to other people in the organization, their onboarding was like all over the place. It was inconsistent. It was a fire hose, probably not the best experience that they had. So that was my first thing, is I wanted to work on onboarding. And I had told my boss, well, in order to do that, and in order to be able to track onboarding, have to have a learning management system. So that was my first step, is getting a learning management system.
Great. So new job, you made your demands, you need to take this online where the learning management system comes in. And many people that are watching us right now live do have experience with learning management systems.
Right.
But you did a lot more than, you didn't stop at the learning management system. So tell me, what was your process that you followed for researching and finding different products and different vendors?
Okay, well, I know I had a set of criteria. I wanted an LMS that was easy to manage. I did want gamification, because I know that's super important, especially in nowadays workforce environment. Video practice was super important to me. After all of my experience in sales enablement, I know that salespeople, and actually even managers and people across the organization, need a safe place to practice their conversational skills. So video practice was super important to me. And then also a good customer service support was important to me too. So those are my criteria in looking for a learning management system. And if you
Learning
want,
management system and various products as well.
right, exactly.
But you eventually you stopped and chose EOB Learning. Why? Out of all the possibilities out there.
Well, actually, the biggest reason, the top reason, was that the person I was talking to, Pete, said that they wanted to be our partner and not just a vendor, and that they were going to be behind me to support me in making sure that I was successful in using this. That was super important to me. They also had all of the modules that I needed, it was a system that I could grow into. It's not something that I could, use in a year and then have to stop and then find another program that was more capable than what I needed. So it was a system that I could grow into, and it had all of the modules that I needed.
Excellent. And I heard you mention a little bit earlier about gamification and fun. Now you're in a new job and you're focusing mostly on the onboarding. So why bring in gamification? Where does that come into play? We're talking about adults now.
Well, adults really are just big kids. Really, adults still want to have fun when they learn. They don't want to sit there and read through an 85-slide PowerPoint. They still like to be challenged with games and competitions. And that's what I have learned all the way through my learning and development career, is games are important. That competition is important. You get a little hit of dopamine every time you play a game and you get a great job. You passed, you were the leader on the board. And so that's why gamification is so important. Plus, our workforce is changing. We're having more millennials, even more Gen Zers, even now maybe sometimes some Gen Xers, and they are used to using games in order to learn. So think Duolingo, think all the other games that they grew up playing. So that's super important.
Now, that sounds very good from a philosophical or from an academic point of view. But now that you've started implementing it into the workforce, what was their reaction of the employees?
Oh my gosh, the comments that we got from our new hires onboarding, they said, they've never had an onboarding experience so good. They've never had it so much fun and something that kept their interest. And I was really pleased about that. I got 5-star ratings across the courses that I've built. And just hearing that they had such a great experience and it started their career with CLX on such a positive note, means a lot, because if you read any sort of research, if you don't have a good onboarding experience, you're more likely to stay with your job for just a short time, and then the turnover becomes higher.
Thank you for that answer. And the gamification is one area where I did not see too many of the poll respondents said they had experience in. So maybe we'll take a little closer look at that a little bit later. And actually, you can show us some of the games that you built out.
Yeah.
You also mentioned a safe place to practice. And that's another area where I didn't see a lot of people on the webinar today have had experience with. Explain to me, what is that about?
Okay. Well, we know that we do role plays a lot for training. That's a really important aspect of sales training, or handling a difficult conversation or giving feedback. We do role plays. Well, having a safe place to practice for me is being able to give salespeople an opportunity to get the words out if they're talking about a new product or a new service in a safe place. They're not in front of their people, they're not in front of their peers, they're not in front of their manager, and they're not having to practice their pitch or what they say on a new customer or on a customer. So this rehearsal aspect was pretty cool. It's just a video-based practice where you give them a prompt and they can practice over and over again, getting the words out, making sure their pitch sounds like them instead of sounding like something they memorized or something that they're reading.
Well, that's exactly right. You don't want people practicing on customers and
Definitely
possibly
not.
losing deals, or in a leadership training,
Right.
practicing and getting it wrong in a leadership situation, possibly involving legal issues. So mistakes in the real world can be very costly. It's nice to have a safe place to practice. And for those of you who don't exactly understand because you don't have any experience with it, but a video coaching platform enables users to record themselves, like Gene said, whether it's giving an elevator pitch or a sales pitch or how they would respond to a leadership situation, get some immediate AI feedback, practice as often as they want before submitting it to someone in the organization, the manager, the boss, whatever, to actually watch them and then provide coaching and feedback. What I like about that situation is that some people are going to learn something and actually apply the learning effectively rather quickly. And others that are stumbling a little bit, you could give them feedback and coaching and actually bring them up to peak performance. Whereas just in a SCORM-based course and pushing something out one way, some people get it, some people don't get it. So this is a lot more personalized and a lot more adaptive in the training process.
What else I like about it is that it's scalable if your company is growing, and also it's super flexible for both the employee and the manager. So when you're doing a role play, you take your people out of their job, their head is still in their job, especially salespeople, they're thinking about that next deal. It's really hard for them to be focused on what they're supposed to be saying. So giving them a place to practice, they can do it after work, they can do it before work, they can do it when they are in the right headspace to be able to focus on their practicing. And then managers can look at this video on their own time, not in the middle of a fire drill or not in the middle of role play, but they can look at it on their own time and really pay attention to how and what the person is saying and be able to give some thoughtful feedback.
Thank you for that. And very appropriate, very well said. Kristen, if you could possibly drop in links into the chat where if people want to find out more about gamification and more about the rehearsal, our video coaching platform, they can follow those links and get more information afterwards. But let's go back to the beginning. We talked about different technologies, and I love the aspect how you explained the whole process of how you came to the point of making decisions. But let's get down to the nitty-gritty.
Okay.
How did you begin? How did you start building this stuff?
Oh my goodness. I think in the very beginning, I was so nervous because even though this was the platform I really wanted, it had everything in it. I was almost to the point of being overwhelmed. And then I thought, you know what? The easiest way to start is taking baby steps. So my baby step was to do something very easy, take something I already had. I think I took like I don't remember, a video of our core values, and I put it in the Rockstar Learning platform. I think I did a few questions, and that was it. That was my first learning. So I just started with baby steps and just kept adding pieces as I went. I am very curious. So Dom, you know this, you can tell the crowd this. I don't just stay in the kindergarten level. I want to go from kindergarten to college without anything in between. So I'm curious, I would just start adding something that I thought, oh, well, let me try this. So for example, gamification, I always knew it was important. And I would do these webinars on gamification, but it was always about building your own game. And I was so intimidated by that. But using gamification in this ELB platform is super easy. Like the games are already done. You just have to put in your questions. So it was pretty easy for me. If it's easy for me, it's probably easy for everybody.
Before we get to the gamification part, though, you said something very interesting. You wanted to start simple,
Yes.
uploading a video, adding questions. Now we're starting to get into an area where I know a lot of people have experience with the LMS. A lot of people have experience building SCORM-based courses, but show us how you quickly got ramped up. Can you share your screen and show us a simple course with the video and the questions?
With the video and the questions, yes. Actually, I'm going to show my onboarding path.
Mm-hmm.
This I started, but it wasn't something that I put together in one day. I just kept adding to it. So can you see my screen?
We can see a lot of stuff on your desktop.
Stop sharing, sorry. It's this one that I want to share.
So now what we're looking at, this is the Rockstar Learning Platform, the LMS that you created. It's got your logo in the upper left-hand corner. It has a banner that you created. And this is one of the learning journeys that you're going to show us today.
So here's something I started where this is a whole bunch of different modules in this onboarding journey. So again, this wasn't a one-day thing. It was, I just started with something and just kept adding to it. So for example, welcome to onboarding. I think we had just a little video that we added. It was just somebody saying, you know, welcome to your onboarding journey. There's a little learning activity. You can either put questions in here or you can put directions. And sometimes I would just put directions.
Okay, so let me pause and interrupt you for a moment. This is important.
Okay.
I'm sure a lot of people watching us today are saying, oh yeah, I've uploaded videos to our LMS system, but I think one of the things that attracted you to this platform was that you upload a video. Do people watch it? Sometimes some systems let you track if they watched it, but did they learn from it? Did they recognize what's important? So in the Rockstar Learn platform, off to the right where it says learner activity, and you have some where you added a lot of questions. So you could add without any programming, without editing the video, you could add questions, and when you run the report, you could show your stakeholders. People are acing this. They're getting what's important out of the video. So
yeah, this is one of the coolest ones that we just did an internship program. And even our new hires said, wow, this really helped me understand the company. You know, everybody gives an org chart and says, here, look at our org chart so that you know who's who in the company. Well, how fun is that? You look at this big org chart and you say, okay, there's a bunch of names. I don't really understand that. Like, okay. But what I did is I actually did a scavenger hunt and said, here's our org chart. So you click on this link, it goes to the org chart. But then on this side, here are all the questions of who would you go to for answers about travel expenses? Or who's the manager of our client services department? So this, they said, was one of the best modules that they had in the onboarding because it helped them understand the company a lot better.
What I'm taking away from this is that if someone already has some existing assets like PDFs and videos,
yes,
you can upload them into the LMS, and the Rockstar Learning Platform has something, and I've used a lot of different LMS systems over my career, and I haven't seen this unique feature where inside the platform, You could add questions, and you could even add time-based comments to the videos where they could click on the time code, let's say at 35 seconds, and it jumps the right to that spot of the video that they could play, which makes navigating through a video and getting to the important parts very easy. But in the platform for administrators like yourself, without any programming or video editing required, you could take videos and PDFs and turn them into interactive, engaging, and reportable learning activities. And for those of you out there that have high-level scoring-based experience, you know how much work it would take to actually overlay these buttons on top of the video, to add questions associated to the video, to run reports on them. It's quite a bit of work to upload a video or a PDF, add the questions in a matter of a few minutes. It's one of the reasons why Jean was able to do so much in such a short amount of time.
Yeah, exactly. If I can do it, anybody can do it.
Now, I remember, Jean, you were telling me that in addition to uploading content, you very quickly advanced to the point where you were actually using the built-in authoring tool to actually create content. Can you show us what one of those pages looks like?
Oh, is that the feedback course that you wanted me to show?
Yeah, the micro learning, one of the micro learning pages.
Yes, that was a good one.
You could see how much when did we start working together? Was that March? And in a few months, look how much content she's got built up. One person, folks. One person did all this. Not only creating the content, but managing the LMS system and uploading them. Pretty amazing.
This is all the content that I've created, and that's not even all of it. So yeah, it was pretty simple. So let me show you this feedback and performance conversation module that I created. And this one was the one with the microlearning module.
Here again, she's got the questions on the side, but on the left side is a multimedia page that Jean created inside the platform.
So I have a little avatar that speaks, talking welcome to this course, what you're going to learn.
How did you get the avatar in there?
It's very, very simple. Like I said, if I can figure it out, anybody can. You open up this microlearning page, it gives you a block for all the different tools that you can put inside. You click on avatar. I think it's 3 buttons. You click on an avatar, you decide which avatar you want, you click on the text that you want it to say, you click on a background, and then you click to create the avatar and the talking, and there you go. It was very easy. Super easy. I think it took me like, I don't know, 2 minutes.
This is using AI and is part of the Rockstar Learn platform. Nice, very nice.
Yes. And then I did a little bit of text here. Of course, you can use ChatGPT to come up or AI to help you write something. Right inside here, on top of doing the questions on the side, you can have questions as you're going through the course. And then what I really liked is you can put in videos, either YouTube videos or any video that you have created or that you get from the Rockstar Learning platform. And then what I thought was pretty cool is they also have an analogy AI creator. So for example, I wanted to explain what giving feedback was like and why it was so important. So I asked them to create an analogy using an apple tree, because an apple tree grows, and that's what feedback does, is it helps your employees grow. And so then it came up with a whole analogy on using an apple tree as an analogy for feedback. Another avatar. And then, so that's what I did. And then we have questions.
Now, a lot of people are already creating scoring-based courses. A lot of people already have the LMS, and they may be thinking, well, that's great for you, Jean. You happen to pick a tool that had all this cool stuff embedded in it. But this page building tool is actually so powerful that is now available separately as a standalone product. So Kristen, if you could drop in the link on how people could find out more information about this micro builder tool. And what Jean's not showing is, Jean, you you haven't translated any of your pages to other languages, have you?
No, we don't need to. I don't know if that's a fortunately or unfortunately, because I can't play with it, but yeah, no, not yet.
What's great about this is you have the ability to translate this page into 74 different languages. The main languages like Italian, German, Spanish, French, simple Chinese will not only translate the text on the page, but it'll actually put closed captions in the videos, and it'll actually, on some of the languages, actually translate the spoken audio tracks in the video to another language. And the first time I saw that happen, it's like, oh my gosh, I can't believe it. You know, AI is pretty amazing. You too can have the advantage of building these long scrollable micro learning pages with AI assistance, upload your own documents and have it actually create an entire learning page based off of your content, not what's available to ChatGPT, along with the language translations. I know I'm sounding like a commercial. I don't mean to. I apologize if I come across like a salesperson, but I'm very excited about this because it really can accelerate course development. And Jean is a great testimony to that.
I pretty much drove Dom crazy with my questions, but I was all gung-ho, and it's been very, very easy to create this onboarding journey and then also branch out into paths for or courses for sales and courses for customer service. So it's been pretty easy and pretty fun.
Now, in this learning journey that you showed for this onboarding, and I don't know if it's in this course or in a different course, I'd like you to show one of the games that you developed, because you did say that that was very easy. And let's see what the finished product is, if you could show us one of the games.
Okay. This is the first game that I did. I thought, oh, how easy will this be to do? So we have 5 core values. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. So we click on this link. Can you see this?
Hear a little music in the background.
Your little music. You click start. You have a little registration here that you put your name into. And then some examples like directions on how to play. So this is either letters or words that you put together. So for example, what is the Conversion Logix mission? So it is
I hope she gets it right, folks.
uh-oh. That's not right.
Oh no, I jinxed it.
And deliver.
Down below, there's a little timer, so she still has some time left. This is where the gamification comes in. A little time pressure always helps.
Right. Delivered. Okay. And then you just keep continuing. Here is what a tussle means. And here is a sentence. So this is kind of fun. Working. Faculty.
Now, where did you get all these graphics from and the music and stuff?
Oh my gosh, that was just part of the program. And that's what makes this thing, that's what makes this Rockstar Learning platform, or at least the gamification part of it, so fun. You literally just put in the questions, all the graphics are done, the music, you can either have music or not have music. You can upload your logo and the graphics are already done. So it is super, super simple. I think I created this game in, I don't know, maybe 15 minutes.
Wow. And what kind of feedback did you get from employees?
Again, big thumbs up, big like, oh my gosh, I can't believe how much fun this was. It wasn't boring. It was really cool. And then they were all saying, oh, I had to do it again because I wanted to beat somebody on the leaderboard or I wanted to beat my own score. So they would do it more than once. And of course, as you know, like 3 times 3 ways or 6 times 6 ways, pick a number. The more they do it, the more they're going to learn.
And is there another game you want to show, or is
Let me see. What other game do I have?
this was the first game out of 11 possible games? You chose this game.
Yeah.
And
I'm
you can
trying
see the different elements with the different amount of time allowed for each question, whether it was a jumble of letters or a jumble of words to create a sentence. And the time pressure forces the learners to not only recall the correct information, but recall it quickly.
Mhm.
And should they not get that great of a score, what options do they have, Jean?
Oh, they can redo it. I pretty much, because to me, it's more important that they learn rather than they get it right the first time. I give them unlimited times to keep doing the game. You can set the number of times, you can set, they need to get 80% of it right or 90% of it right. So there's a lot of variables that you can put in there. I just happen to let them do it as many times as they want. And then every once in a while, I'll put a game in my newsletter and then people go in and just play the game on their own. So here is a scenario that I did. So this is Wilson's first week. The reason why I made this is because we mostly hire people out of right out of college. And they are the kids that went to high school during COVID, didn't get a chance to learn how to interact in a corporate environment. So this is one of the games that I created to help them understand how to work in a corporate environment and how to work in a virtual environment, in a corporate virtual environment. So this is a scenario-based game, super easy to do. So Wilson is starting his first week.
And I see you've got that background customized with your custom background there.
Exactly. So that was very easy to do. Again, it gives you, it explains the game. So there's always a tutorial in here, which is nice. And then next. And it says your decisions will drive the way forward, keep going. And then I just put these pictures in myself. I created the feedback. So here it's his first day, not sure what professional casual means. So can he wear khakis, hoodie, and a sneaker? Most meetings will be virtual. If I choose one, that's wrong. So it takes away 50 minutes. And then it goes to an information page. So it gives them information about why that was a wrong answer. Because just getting it wrong doesn't help them. Understanding why they get it wrong helps them. So now I click correct. And then another question. Again, so it's basically this. You go through all of these scenarios and answer these questions.
What I like about this is that it's not just linear, it's branching. If they get it wrong, you show them feedback and explain why. If they get it right, they advance to the next question. And I see you have it customized with your graphics. That's very good. But all the programming with the scoring and everything, that's all done for you. And it's pretty much just filling in the template.
Right, just filling in the questions and the answers.
Okay, great. Thanks for sharing that. So this is one area. Kristen, maybe drop in a link if people want to find out more about this particular tool. And we have a little special promo for people that actually book a demo, but I'll share that at the end. It's a nice little contest that we're running.
Nice.
Let's take a look at next, the safe practice. Can you explain and show us what was that like? How did you incorporate that into the learning journey?
Well, one thing is I never made a big deal about the fact that we had Power Up. It was always like these little soft pilots. I would pick a team and I would say, hey, let's start learning. I started with a Power Up lesson, and I think it was just how to use Power Up. And that went to the whole company and just said, this is how we're going to be using this to do our learning journeys. And then for the account managers, the VPs of account management came to me and said, is there a way for our people to practice having these customer conversations? And I said, yes, we have this rehearsal platform. And I said, I would suggest doing something very easy to get them used to using rehearsal. And so what I did is I created this rehearsal, my restaurant recommendation. So this was a super fun, super easy way for the account managers to get used to using the rehearsal and do something fun that wasn't going to be intimidating. Because I didn't want to start out with, here's a customer scenario, what would you answer? Like, that's super intimidating. So this is just to get them used to the rehearsal platform. So my restaurant recommendation, they click on the link. It opens up directly into a prompt, and this is just me saying, while chatting with your neighbor, do you want me to play it?
No, you don't have to play it.
Okay, while chatting with your neighbors, they ask you for a restaurant recommendation. And so as you can see, the people click on here, listen to me give the prompt. If they want, they can read it down below. I put in the response criteria. You should be smiling, relaxed, and natural. And then when they're ready to record their recommendation, they just press record. They can record themselves as many times as they want, and then they click upload when they're ready to submit. It was a safe and easy place for them to get used to talking to a camera and practicing their conversational skills.
So to make it clear, this restaurant recommendation was just simply an easy way to introduce this to the organization, so employees weren't all of a sudden saying, now what's this thing that I'm doing? I got to record myself and my manager is going to be looking at it. This was a simple, fun introduction to the platform. So then when the series assignments came, it wasn't so intimidating. Is that correct?
You reduce tension, increases retention. And the other reason why I like this platform is because it's active learning and not passive learning. So one of the ways that I use this as well is for new hires. I will say, all right, you did a job shadow on, how to upload a client request into our platform. Now show us how you can do that. So you can either do a video of yourself speaking, or you can do a video, like a screen share, and actually show that you know how to do something in a platform.
Now, there's many features to this program, especially I know there's some people working on large teams, which means you're working on a large organization. It's very easy to scale this. I like to point out when I'm actually demoing rehearsal, I like to point out the weak points in video practice. There are a couple, but our company has really developed a flagship product that has good ways of overcoming the weak points. We have the ability to take a complex scenario where, let's say, it's a sales or leadership situation where there's several steps. I've got to ask questions to find out what's going on. I got to repeat what I think I heard to make sure I understood correctly. I have to make suggestions. I have to find out if they understood the suggestions and are willing to go by them. Comply with them. Then I have to sum up with next steps, how we're going to follow up. If I have to do all that in a video, I'm probably going to make mistakes many times, and it could be very frustrating from the employee's point of view. But having the ability to break it down into micro learning and practice each step by itself makes it great for the employee, but not so great for the managements who keep getting all these videos that they got to review. So we have built into the system ways of automating the process, providing AI feedback and moving things along to reduce the load on the managements to having to review a whole bunch of videos, where they could have the learners learn and practice and get peer reviews amongst their cohort, and then submit one video to the manager, which usually is pretty good. After the AI feedback and the peer reviews, the learners are really advanced, and it saves a lot of time, a lot of money. But if you'd like to see a demo on that, I think Kristen's already dropped a link to finding out more about rehearsal.
So we are going to use this. We're coming out with a new, I don't know if you call it a pitch deck or just an explanation deck, but it's pretty long. and it's very involved. And so we are breaking it up into 3 or 4 pieces, and that's what we're going to be using rehearsal for. We just want you to practice the first piece, then we want you to practice the second piece, and then the third piece. And like you said, part of it is going to be just practice it until you feel that it's good. Part of it will be, okay, now you get a peer review. And then once they get the whole entire pitch deck and be able to walk through the whole entire thing, telling that story, that's when the manager will be able to grade it.
To recap what we've covered so far is Jean, one person with really no hands-on learning management system or course creation experience, has in a few months not only mastered uploading content into the learning management system, but adding gamification and interactive video-based coaching and feedback. But a lot of people here are already developing SCORM-based courses. They already manage an LMS. And Jean, not to be left behind, I remember you saying, I want to up my game. And instead of just uploading existing content, instead of using the AI built-in authoring tool, I want to get my hands on and start from scratch. And that's where Lectora, our e-learning SCORM-based authoring tool, came in. Can you show us what you've done in that? And again, remember, this is only since March, and she's learned all these tools. And now let's see what she's doing in SCORM development.
Okay, can you see my screen, the Conversion Logix overview?
Yes.
This is one of the reasons why I was adamant about also having a SCORM ability to create my own SCORM courses, because it's all well and good to be able to upload a doc, like you said, but there's also things that you just have to create from scratch. And especially, you can't have AI write stuff about your company. You just have to use your marketing or your SMEs in your company to be able to help you. So this is what I created in Lectora so far. And as Dom can tell you, I was constantly asking him questions because I wanted to up my game and use like really cool stuff in my SCORM course. So what would you like me to show them in here? What the things that we've worked on together?
Some of the interactions that we worked on, and maybe you could start with something simple, and because visually it's looking very nice. I like the way it looks, and I see you using your corporate color schemes.
Click on each picture to find out what you will learn in this lesson.
Okay, so here is click on a picture, and it's more like keeping somebody engaged and not just passive learning. And I know just clicking isn't super active, but it's a little bit more interesting than just flipping through slides and reading them. So I do have a lot of speech to text in here, which is really nice because some people are better auditory learners than they are just visual learners. So I try and do things for all sorts of learners. So I've done that. I've done a video where I've created a video in here. I've created this is kind of a cool game. It's just a matching game about our mission. So you click on a phrase and click on the matching phrase here. So again, it's a really cool way to learn. They're having to read it and figure something out versus just read it. So again, being an active learner versus a passive learner. I have another game in here.
Now, this is very interesting. So the game you showed us before was being launched from the learning management system. Now it's embedded inside the SCORM course. So there's a lot of different ways of actually delivering and deploying the games that you create. So that's very good. And then I know you did something interactive with cutout characters and stuff.
Yeah, I can do that one. This is, do you want me to show this one really quick? I like this because it was a card game that you could drag and drop cards. I'll just show you this very quickly. It's a whole bunch of cards across here. And it's like, who are we and what do we do? These things. And then you just click on the cards and put them in the right area. Again, it's
that's a nice interaction. I didn't even know you did that one.
There we go. I wanted to practice. So I thought this would be a lot more fun than just having somebody read. So that's this game. So they have to fill out all of these cards in the right order.
Now that we know
Sequencing.
I was wondering, who exactly do our sales and account managers talk to about digital marketing strategies and technology?
That's a great question. Let's meet the key players who can use our help.
So that's very nice. You've got the characters animating, you've got the conversation bubbles animating, you have the audio being triggered at the right times.
Mhm.
Very nicely done. And I'm sure there's some people here that are already doing a lot more complicated things, but keep in mind, like Tora got up to speed, Gene got up to speed, not only with the SCORM authoring, but with the gamification, video coaching, learning management system, only since March. It's been a very, very short amount of time. And that's why I wanted to introduce you to Jean, because she really is phenomenal and just becoming a master at all of this really quick.
Well, thank you, Dom. It really has a lot to do with your support and your service, like how many times I emailed you, how many times we jumped on a call and you were walking me through things. I messed up things so many times, but you said you were so encouraging and saying, well, you learn by not doing it right, and then you learn how to do it right. So doing that, you were just an angel to me helping through this. So
As the VP
And
of
this
marketing,
relationship is going to
there are two
continue
things
because
I am
there's still
particularly
more
concerned
for
about.
Gene to learn.
Do you know what they are?
yes.
Click on the two buttons that you believe are correct.
So here's another interactive thing, like you just have to figure out like which two are the right buttons. So here's that's right, that's wrong, and that's right. So far that's
So
what I have.
we're coming up to time, and I want to
Yep.
make sure that I share my screen and show you one of the deliverables. Let me bring this up on my screen, and let me find it right here. Here we go. And then we'll open it up to some Q&A. I'm sure there's some people with questions for Gene. I'm going to share this screen right here. So we'll talk briefly about when I asked Gene, I go, Gene, we said in the webinar description that we were going to talk about lessons learned, and she gave me a whole list. So I figured I put it up on the screen for a moment. You guys can take a snapshot if you like. But the lessons learned, Gene, here's what you gave me. Do you want to summarize this instead of reading it line by line? But from this whole process and this whole relationship that you'll be learning, what have you learned, and what advice do you have for people that may want to follow in your footsteps?
I would say the biggest three lessons are invest in professional service hours, because that will help you not be as intimidated and will really support you. It's okay to start with baby steps and just have fun with it. Don't be intimidated, be curious, and just keep going. Start with baby steps, and then you'll just keep building your skills as you go.
Mhm.
That's the biggest ones that I would say.
Okay, excellent. Now, as we go to the Q&A session, I'm showing on this screen here. Actually, I should be doing this here this way. All right. For anyone that requests a demo for any one of our products between now and before September 2nd, 2024, you'll be entered into a chance to win free tickets to DevLearn. I wish I had the ability to get a free demo and possibly win a chance at DevLearn, but I'm not qualified because I work for the company. But what I'm hoping at this point is you found something that you do not have experience with, that you'd like to learn more about. Request a demo, you got the barcode there to scan, and make sure that the person who's demoing the product for you enters your name into that contest, and good luck. So while this is on the screen, do we have any questions for Gene or myself?
Dominic, we do have a couple of questions in our Q&A bubble. For those of you who have not had a moment to pop in there, please do go right now so we can get the rest of these questions all geared up. We have Gerard is wondering, Jean, are you your own company? If so, are you partnering with ELB Learning to provide services to clients? Or if not, are you your own team in the department where you are serving employees within the company?
Great question for you, Jean.
And Jean just disappeared on us, Dominic. I have a small feeling she had an issue with her internet connection. So I'm going to answer that while she's gone. Jean is a part of another company. She is a one-woman band in the training department, but she is a part of, go ahead, Dominic, can you remind everyone what company she's a part of?
Conversion Logix is the name of the company. I forget how many employees that she has, but yes, she's in charge of the learning department. She's the one that said, if you want me to work for you, these are the tools that I need. And she actually got that approved for all the tools that you've seen demonstrated. And I've been working with Jean for a number of months, and she's has been making amazing progress. Her attitude is phenomenal. She's just so eager to learn. The partnership between the two of us has worked out really well. And I said, Jean, you want to do a joint webinar? Because I think your experiences is something a lot of people are going to be interested in.
All right, this one's for you, Dominic. We have seen on the ELB Learning website that there are various LMS choices offered. If I'm correct, the demo today was just one of them. I have several questions about this. Number one, by using your LMS options, does each allow creation and ownership, aka branding, the way Jean demonstrated?
Yes, the learning platform, actually, you saw one branding that Jean created, and she only has one. But she does have the option, for example, if she wanted to, I have another company that has two brands. One is for internal employees and one is branded for their vendors. I have another one that actually brands something for the public, where they could put out free samples of learning and just to generate inquiries. And then I have another company that has different portals, different branded sites for different regions of the country. So if I understood the question correctly, this is one of our learning management systems. It allows for multiple brandings. And was there a bit more to that question that I missed?
The next question was, can a consultant have access and develop courses for clients using the various platforms that are tailored for each client afterward? Such as, let's say somebody is a consultant and they have 5 different clients, so they can utilize our products to create individual experiences that are branded for each individual client.
Definitely. As a matter of fact, the learning platform is ideally suited for that, because as a consultant, I can sell my services to many smaller companies that don't have the resources of having a learning management system administrator, and then have the budget for the cost of the whole learning management system, and then paying the hourly wages involved with that. So to outsource that to a consultant that can help create the content, upload the content, provide them with their own personal website. Yes, one learning platform purchase can enable one single individual to manage a system for multiple clients. And if you enable the e-commerce portion of it, which is included, then you could actually sell your own training to the public.
Now, Dominic, another question would be, would that consultant more so look at something like the Learning Creation Studio instead of purchasing individual products?
The Learning Creation Studio is very powerful. It gives you a lot of different authoring tools, from SCORM-based authoring to the video coaching and the gamification that Jean has shown you, to the virtual reality authoring. I mean, all that bundle, it has pretty much everything for authoring. The only other component you would need would be the Rockstar Learning platform to actually host and deliver. So between those two packages, you are going to be a master in the e-learning space.
Sorry, Dom, power got cut off really fast.
Oh no, Jean.
Yes, I know. It's like, seriously, now, and yeah, so I'm good.
Gerard has one more question, and I love the answer that you're about ready to say to this one, Dominic. He's asking, will all perform perfectly on mobile devices?
Yes, everything that you've seen is totally adaptive, responsive to the device, vertical, horizontal, portrait, you know.
And we didn't even get into our virtual reality, our VR solution that you can serve up on a tablet or a phone or a
Mhm.
desktop, and there's no headset required. So there's a lot to explore
Mhm.
within our learning creation studio.
Was there any questions that I could answer for anybody, or did you get them all done while I was on my
The
little
first
break?
question was for you, Gene, but we had, Kristen and I had to step in and answer for you.
We stumbled through, Gene. We stumbled through.
Do I need to add anything? Or are you good?
Well, is there anything else that you would like to add about your relationship with ELB Learning in the short time that you've been cultivating it?
All I can say is the customer support is great. And what I can say is being able to build up this learning program so easily and so quickly as being a one person only department was super important to me. And being able to do it so easily was, took a lot of the stress out.
Awesome. Is
Yes.
there anything else? Yeah.
Yes, I did want to mention a few of the statistics. I do know that our ramp time for new hires has gone from about 2 to 3 months down to 2-ish weeks. And I say 2-ish because we just hired somebody, and within a week, the last 3 people, within a week and a half, they were already jumping in and being able to do their job instead of having to have the managers tell them all about Conversion Logix. I do know that the VPs of account management said that they've saved themselves 10 hours a week, a VP, 10 hours a week in not having to do new hire. The courses that I've had 5 stars across it. So that's pretty cool. Everybody's been rating the courses 5 stars. And so far, those are the statistics that I have. Oh, and I think I got 100% people using Power Up and not being being comfortable with it within 2 months because I just did these soft rollouts.
Wow,
Okay,
100%
so
participation rate.
Yeah.
I see that we're just about at time. I'm going to make one quick comment. If you guys want to, give thumbs up or whatever kind of reactions, thank you, Gene, very much. You've been phenomenal. It's been my pleasure to do this with you. The hour went by so fast, but I just happened to see one comment. VR, exclamation point. That's for young people. It's like, that was my attitude when I first heard about that. But the VR, there's no headset required. It works equally well with the mouse and navigating. You don't need to have a 3D camera. There's a built-in AI or authoring component to generate the 3D scenes. And that gives someone an environment where they can move left or right, up or down, and they could actually choose. It becomes a non-linear learning experience. And if you integrate that with games and talking avatars and videos and rehearsal links, I could show you some amazing demos that really will actually change your perspective on virtual reality. It really changed mine when I got deeply into it. So
And
on that
Gene,
note, thank you, Gene. Thank you, attendants. Everyone's been fantastic.
I'm sorry.
we do have one quick question. What's
Uh-huh.
your average time to complete a course? Let's say a 15-page course.
15, I don't know if I've ever done a 15-page. The longest course I did was the feedback course. And I think that took me, I don't know, 45 minutes, half an hour, 45 minutes. And that's only because I'm picky and I kept making changes.
So you're talking about how long it took you to build that course?
Oh, like I said, maybe half an hour.
Wow. And if the question was how long does it take a user to take the course, it's going to depend upon the content. But you figure 15 pages might be 25 minutes. If there's a half-hour video on 2 of the pages, there's an hour right there. So that's going to be depending
Yeah.
upon the content.
And I don't do long courses like that. I figure people have the attention span of, I don't know, goldfish or gnat. So I make mine very micro learning, I chunk a lot of my lessons, so they're all very short.
Wonderful. Thanks
Yes.
so much, Jean. Thanks so much, Dominic. And thank you so much to everyone who showed up today. We will send out the recording ASAP, and we hope you have a fabulous day.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.